everybody, we are finally together.
We are.
At long last, nice to see you. So today we're going to talk about when you think big and it maybe goes wrong, it doesn't go according to plan, because actually the 10 steps to a $10 million business, you've got to start with thinking big. We've talked about that, but things do go wrong. I'm going to talk to you about how to overcome that and what to do if it doesn't go according to plan. Okay, because small things like global pandemics can get in the way of success. So Nick, you were telling me earlier about training as a barrister. Talk to us about that.
I did. I did a law degree part-time as a mature student whilst working full-time, with the intention at the end of this I would do my professional training to become a barrister, and then secure what is known as a pupillage, where you become a trainee barrister for 12 months and then off you go. However, pupillages are very, very hard to come by. And when I was applying for them, it became, along with other people who had graduated at the same time as me, it became quite clear there were a certain type of people with a certain academic background that were getting interviews for pupillage rather, and I was not one of them. So I felt I'd studied for 6 years and I hit this absolute brick wall. You know, I'd thought big, I was thinking big, from somebody who wasn't terribly academic at all to, right, I'm going to be a barrister, which is a huge thing, and a brick wall. It's like, what to do next? So I've experienced it.
You also had a young baby.
I did, yes. It was not ours, it was mine, yes. No. But that's true. In the last 6 months of doing my bar vocational course, as it was there, the professional training, we decided to have a child, which wasn't perfect timing.
No, it wasn't. And no. This is the thing, when you embark on this journey, the timing is never perfect, ever. So if you're waiting for the perfect time, you'll be waiting forever. So that didn't go according to plan, and it meant you have to have a bit of a rethink, really. But was that learning a waste of time?
No.
Right.
No. And actually, if I can, let me add what happened is I did, without boring you with the details, I did secure a job at a very large law firm.
You did, I remember that.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. And irony of ironies, I spent 6 years practicing to be a lawyer, and then I actually practiced for 6 months, and then I walked away and joined my sister in a recruitment business.
You did.
Now, you talk about wasted time, but a number of people said to me, Nick, you spent 6 years becoming a lawyer, and now you've tried it for 6 months and you're going to walk away. Surely that's a waste of time. And I went, no, in my view, what would be a waste of time would be working in a job, or being a lawyer, that I had realised quite quickly I didn't like.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and this is the point, is you think big and you set fantastic goals and you've got an absolutely mega goal and you get to that destination, but you know what? Sometimes you get to that destination, you go, oh, actually, this is not where I'm meant to be, right? And that's all right. Okay, better to change direction, go somewhere else, than to go, no, I've worked for 6 years, I'm going to stay here. What, even though you're miserable and you're not watching your son grow up? Yes, even though I'm miserable and I'm watching my son grow up, I'm going to stay here because it's spent 6 years. That would be a waste of time.
Yeah. So my example is I trained to be an exec coach. So I did my master's degree in coaching. I trained to be a licensed trainer in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and I thought my business would just be about executive coaching and would just be about teaching NLP. But what I discovered was that I was more interested in the mechanics of growing a business as well as growing the people. And I quickly discovered, well, actually, it should have been quicker than it was, but I discovered that it was a much easier conversation to have with a business owner. Look, let me help you sort your business out rather than let me help you sort your head out. And it took me a while to realise that I'd had my ladder up against the wrong wall. I was kind of trying to climb this executive coaching tree, and it wasn't really giving me what I wanted. It wasn't fulfilling enough because I kept wanting to get really involved in the business rather than just deal with either the leadership team or the CEO. So I had to have another rethink and think, right, well, what else do I need to feel fulfilled and grow the kind of business I want? And then I started exploring business coaching and models and frameworks in business. But all that other stuff wasn't a waste of time, because it gave me great experience in people, in behaviors, in understanding how people tick. So not only now can I work with the business to grow that and build real value into it, but I also can take the owners with me because I understand how they're thinking and behaving, and I can ask really smart questions that comes from my NLP background to move them on faster. So yeah, thinking big is a great place to start to get you where you want to be. If along that journey you find yourself in a place where you're going, I don't actually like this, I don't want to be here, change tack. It's not been a waste of time. It's definitely, you're still learning, you're still developing, you're still getting skills, you've still built value, and it will lead you on to the next stage. There's a lovely phrase that I use in the Thinking Big training is, you can get so far and then you'll see how where the next step is to take you further. But you've got to get so far first before you can see the next step. That makes sense?
It does make sense. You did mix metaphors earlier on about a ladder and then climbing a tree.
Did I?
Either one will do.
Ladders, trees,
Whatever.
doesn't matter.
You're getting to the top in either one. Just make sure it's the right one.
And if you're thinking right now, God, I've not got time to do this, then all I can say to you is that now is the best time to make those changes, because how much more time are you gonna waste thinking small, treading water, running around like a mad thing chasing their tail? Take the time out now to really set your stall out and think where you're going to take your business, where you're heading, and actually what you want out of your business and your life. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
See you
Cheers.
soon. Bye.